Hey everybody, welcome back to an episode of the 3 Count. I'm War Machine MJ, and I'm here today to talk about Smackdown from June the 5th. Let's go ahead and pop into it. We kicked off the show with Jeff Hardy talking about how the week prior he was framed of a hit and run. He was arrested and, well, he was basically tested to see if he got back on the wagon again. Or fell off the wagon. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, but he talked about how he has doubted himself in the past, but he knows he didn't slip. He didn't slip into his vices, or his he didn't slip into his vices. And apparently he had caught wind that eyewitnesses had saw what they described as a man with red hair and a red beard run away from the accident, which is why he came back to confront Sheamus. Because who else has red hair and a red beard? Sheamus came out, called Jeff Hardy a junkie, insulting his family, and then they got to scrapping. Of course, Sheamus got the better of it, bro kicked Jeff Hardy, and then threw him into the plexiglass at ringside. You know, that was all that happened with that segment. Next, we had a backstage segment where King Corbin misplaced his crown. I actually remember to call him King this time instead of Baron. But King Corbin had misplaced his crown, and while he was bitching at a PA about it, Otis put the crown on at the request of his peach, Mandy. And Corbin found out about and then challenged the Big Dope to a match. It was a decent match, but Corbin, being the sore sport that he was, attacked Otis with a chair and caused a disqualification. Of course, Otis and that flesh tank he calls a gut absorbed the chair shot, and Otis then laid out Corbin and hit him with the caterpillar. Bang, boom, go home. Next we had one of 3 segments where The Miz and John Morrison are, well, instead of taking the threat of Braun Strowman seriously, they decide to rip off Ashton Kutcher and play a little pranked. So the first thing they do is, Braun Strowman got to the PC where they're still doing SmackDown, and tried to make himself a protein shake. And well, that didn't go over so well, as the shake just kind of exploded in his face. Later on during the show, Miz and Morrison were trying to, dump some Nickelodeon branded slime all over Braun Strowman. But instead they got Kayla Braxton, who sold it perfectly. Because Braun Strowman was checking to make sure she was okay, and all she could muster was, "Those bastards." And of course, Miz Morrison, the whole time that's going on, Miz tells Morrison, "I thought I told you to put it on the left." He's like, "Yeah, I put it on the left. Stage left, not stage left, my left." It was pretty good back and forth. Then they just decided to count the small victory where they got some of the slime on Strowman's his shirt, a little on his beard. So yeah. And then little bit a little bit later on from that, um, Miz and Morrison then took a bat and a golf club and broke the windshield on Strowman's car, while the valet looked on and did absolutely nothing, or parking lot security, whatever. He didn't do anything but just stood there. Maybe he was intimidated because the Miz just gave him the... I don't know. And then a little bit more later on from that, after Braun Strowman had found that his car had been vandalized, the parking lot security pointed out that Miz and Morrison are staying in a van. So Braun Strowman goes and he flips the van. Of course, he legit flips it, and they keep cutting to Miz and Morrison inside the van that's not really been flipped. I don't think they thought it through how to film the inside of a flipped van. Anyway, that was all from that segment. Next, after the first Braun Strowman prank segment, we had Lacey Evans taking on Sonya Deville, and they were scrapping all over ringside, inside the ring, just going back and forth. However, the finish came down to Mandy Rose popping up on the Titantron, distracting Sonya Deville, just leaving her to turn right into a woman's right. 1, 2, 3, Lacey Evans picks up the W. Next, there was a in-ring segment where Renee Young held a summit between AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan ahead of their IC Championship match, or IC Tournament Finals, where Daniel Bryan more or less calls AJ Styles a coward. AJ says, well, I'm not here with free handouts, because Daniel Bryan said he was going to defend the belt against, people he wanted to fight. And then AJ inferred that Drew Gulak was given a handout by Daniel Bryan. And then AJ said, well, you know what? I challenged Drew Gulak to a match where I'll show him the true meaning of a handout. Drew Gulak came out and he started tearing into AJ just prior to the belt. Yeah. We came back from commercial, and Drew Gulak and AJ Styles were putting on a clinic. Drew Gulak, underrated as hell. I mean, come on. This dude is amazing. But he and AJ Styles put on a clinic. After towards the finish, however, AJ Styles tried to hit the Styles Clash, but Drew Gulak countered it into a cradle pin, got the victory, laughing all the way to the bank. Next, it was made official. Jeff Hardy and Sheamus is on for Backlash. After that, we had a segment where, I forget how the segment set up, but it was basically, it involved the New Day, Shorty G, Shinsuke Nakamura, Cesaro, and Mojo Rawley, where the heels were basically picking on Shorty G, whatever, and the New Day stepped in to help, which led to a 6-man tag team match as the New Day and Shorty G took on Nakamura, Cesaro, and Rawley. This was a decent enough match. Shorty G, underrated as hell. The only thing holding him back is a crap gimmick. But, yeah, Mojo Rawley ate a midnight hour, which put an end to the match. And finally, in the main event, we had women's tag team championship action as Bayley and Sasha Banks challenged Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross for the tag championships. uh, yeah, this was a pretty good match. Down the stretch, however, Nikki Cross and Sasha Banks were in a counter war as Nikki Cross countered the Banks statement into a pin, after which was countered into a crucifix pin by Sasha Banks. And yeah, her and Bayley pick up the victory. They are now two-time WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, and Bayley is now a dual champion, still holding the Smackdown Women's Championship as well. So yeah, it was a pretty good match. Of course, not a lot of people are too high on Sasha and Bayley being champions, but what can you expect when there's very, very, very few women's tag teams in the main roster right now? Even prior to this pandemic, there's still just like only a few teams that are still together. Of course, you've got Bayley and Banks, Bliss and Cross, the Iconics, and that's it. Everyone else is just mutual ground. Whoever's enemy of the week. Anyway, that is the SmackDown recap from June the 5th. So remember, if you miss Rod and his opinions, he has a podcast out. It's called Prime Talk with Rodimus Prime on the Castbox app. Go check him out. All right, he needs somebody to listen to his opinions. Yeah, he does need somebody. So go ahead and check him out. That being said, I'm War Machine MJ, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.